Now, if you wake up a little stiff and tired in the mornings, one of the best things that you can do is some movements with breath work to gently wake up. Now, today's short class is what I've been doing myself for the past month, and I would love to share it with you guys. Let's get started. So we're just going to come to the front of our mats here, taking a moment to notice the ground underneath our feet. And continuing stretching the arms up overhead. Maybe you want to interlace the fingers and do a little small side stretch here. So not doing anything too extreme in the mornings. It's nice just to have a very easy, gentle practice to make sure we're not doing anything too crazy, and it's really easy for the body to follow along. And when you're ready, we're going to drop the arms, the neck, the shoulders, and start bending forwards into a nice little easy, maybe a bit sloppy forward fold here. Maybe you want to walk the legs a little bit from side to side. Feel free to start noticing your breath here as well. When you're ready, generously bending the knees, hands on the floor, and taking a step back here to all fours. Placing some weight into the hands, spread the fingers. We're going to lean over and just gently move here from side to side. And we'll go ahead and rotate the fingers out to the side, maybe a little bit more towards the knees if that's available for you. And then the weight again over the hands and just a little bit from side to side. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate those fingers back again, so the peace fingers pointing to the front of the mat. From here, on the inhale for cat-cow, and then the exhale, curving the spine. So inhale, contracting in the back, opening the heart and chest. Exhale, curving here, opening the back body. Maybe you want to lean the weight a little bit from side to side. I also think one of the most important things to do in these morning yoga classes is to really listen to your intuition and your body, what your body's communicating and saying to you. And maybe you want to make some little adjustments here or just follow your intuition. And this is also building up that sensitivity to the communication from our body. Because our body is communicating with us all the time. We're just not always that sensitive to be able to listen to and understand what it's saying. All right, guys, from here, leaning to one side, and we're going to bring one foot up underneath us. So you might have it out to the side here and just sort of take several steps forward and then heel toe it in front of you. So coming down, we're going to stretch the front of the hip on that back leg, and then maybe doing some small movements here from side to side. So really opening up the whole front of the thigh. Now, if it's a little bit hard to be down here this low, maybe you come up and hold your thigh, or you have a block or a table, a chair, or something like that you're holding on to. And moving on here, we're going to send those hips back behind us, straightening out that front leg. Again, you might be further up. If it's available to you, maybe you want to flex that front leg. Do some gentle rotations here from side to side. And last breath. Coming forwards again, we're going to rotate towards this knee, open up the heart and chest, maybe gazing up towards the sky, and on the exhale, coming down. If you feel ready for it, on the next inhale, maybe you want to stretch that arm up, and on the exhale, maybe you drop that hand down to the floor, or maybe even the elbow if that's available for you. Next inhale, coming up, maybe you also want to lift that back knee, and exhale, dropping it back down again. Coming here, all fours, switching legs, take your time. Maybe you need some help to get that leg back again. And then coming over here, opposite leg. Walking it forwards, heel toe the foot in front of us. Find that stretch on the front of the hip. 2 more breaths. Last one. And sending the hips backwards, straightening out that front leg. So remember, you can always keep a bend in the knee. You can just relax that foot if you want to. Maybe doing some small rotations here. Last breath. And the foot back on the mat, coming forwards, rotating towards that knee on the inhale. And on the exhale, coming back down again, maybe expanding a little bit more on the next inhale. Lifting up that arm. Remember, we can be rotating that arm up here as well. Exhale down, hand or elbow to the floor. And inhale, coming up one last time. Maybe lifting that back knee. And exhale, coming back down. Excellent, guys. From here, working that leg back behind us. And then we're going to come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. Now again, still just listening to your body, following your intuition. What is it that feels nice to do here? So maybe you're just completely still. Maybe you have the arms, shoulders, knees, everything a little bit relaxed and gentle. Or maybe you're floating a little bit from side to side. Maybe you're thinking cat-cow. So there's plenty of things that we can be doing here. But when you're ready, we're going to come forwards into a plank. Now, if your hands, your shoulders aren't ready for 3 chaturanga push-ups, maybe you bring your knees down. And remember, you can just do them small. You don't need to do them all the way down to the ground. So I'm going to do mine up here with the knees lifted. So on the exhale, we're lowering down. Maybe you stop in the middle, or you're coming all the way down. On the inhale, lifting up. And 2. And up. And 3, exhale, laying down on our bellies. And just take a moment here, maybe shake out those hips. Feeling what that feels like down in our lower back. Bringing the hands forward, elbows underneath the shoulders for sphinx. So laying here, finding a nice comfortable pose. Maybe keep shaking out those hips a little bit. When you're ready, contracting the muscles in the back, lifting the head, or if it's a bit uncomfortable for the neck, then just hang forwards. Maybe start pressing down into the hands, lifting the elbows slightly off the floor. And on your exhale, we're going to release everything and come back down to laying on our stomachs. We have 2 more here, so coming back up into our sphinx. Inhale, so maybe you're staying here or you're lifting a little bit higher up. So straightening up those back legs, activating the glutes, and exhale, coming down. Shake out the hips, and we got 1 more. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, gently releasing, coming down, shaking out those hips. When you're ready here now, in your own time, we're going to press back through all 4s and find our child's pose or balasana. So you can have your knees together or apart, just depending on what's most comfortable for you. And maybe you're up on the balls of your feet back here to get that little extra stretch in the soles of your feet. So if you can't get down here, maybe you have a pillow or something under your forehead. Maybe you have, make some fists to rest your head, or you can also just be up here. It's entirely up to you. We're going to come down here for at least 2 more deep breaths. All right, very nice, yogis. So we're coming up to sitting here in hero pose. Now, if this is uncomfortable, maybe you just swing your legs to the front. Maybe you go up on the balls of your feet to get that little extra stretch. Just a little focus on the shoulder area, starting with a few small circles. First the one way, and then the opposite way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and straighten up the arms to each side, giving ourselves a great big hug. Pulling the shoulders, the elbows down, and curving gently over ourselves. And here as well, if you want to do a little rocking back and forth, feel free to go and do that. Maybe some small rotations as well. Coming up here, inhaling, remembering which arm is on top. We're going to open up and then switch. Giving ourselves that great big hug. Walk the hands back and curving over. Two more. Last breath. All right, very nice, guys. Now, when we're still sitting here, if it's uncomfortable, then feel free to change your position that you're sitting in. We're going to do a little modified prayer here. So the hands are coming back behind us, grabbing the wrists, the forearms, maybe the elbows, pulling the shoulder blades together. So we're getting a little stretch here in the front of the shoulder and the transition here to our chest. Now, very often what happens is we start sticking out the chest and the ribs and the stomach. So maybe you want to compensate by trying to pull this in, and then it'll be a little bit harder here, and we'll feel the stretch a little bit more in the front of our shoulders. Last breath. All right, very nice. Going ahead, just shaking out those arms. We're going to come to laying down on our back. So taking the time here to transition, finding the most comfortable way for you. Arms are just out here, maybe the hands up above our heads. We're going to find this spinal twist with some sort of window wipers with our knees. So when you're here, you might want to just feet further in, closer together, just finding this pose that feels comfortable. You drop one and one knee down to the one side on the inhale. On the exhale, I want you to imagine starting with your core here. So pulling your navel in, tightening the core, supporting the back as one and one knee comes up, and then changing sides. And then continuing here. I'll do one more round. And last time. So the breathing here is just going however you like. It doesn't really matter so much where you're inhaling, where you're exhaling, just as long as it's feeling good for you here this morning. Go ahead and collect the knees, give yourself a little hug, maybe lifting the head as well, rolling gently from side to side, using the knees to help us come back up to sitting. We're going to find this little reverse tabletop flow. So hands out to the side. Now remember, you can sort of like put the pressure in the hands in different ways just to notice how it's feeling for your wrists here. The legs about a hip width apart. On the inhale, we're going to push down, lifting the hips up towards the sky. So here, really tightening those glutes, pressing the hips up, pulling the shoulder blades together behind us and down into the back. If it feels good for your head, maybe just want to drop it down behind you. On the exhale, lowering down. And on the inhale, or the exhale, depending on how you want to be breathing, are coming up and down and up. Feel free to find your own tempo here. And exhaling, coming back down again. All right, we're going to lay back down on our stomachs, maybe grabbing the knees for some help so we can gently roll down. We're going to find this little supine pigeon, so one leg is up, we're rotating out to the side, cross over that leg and press the knee away from us. Now you should feel a little stretch in your hip. If it's fine for you to stay here, if you're feeling it a lot, stay here, or you want to go ahead and try to pull all of this towards you. So lots of different ways that we can be holding here. Feel free to find your favorite. But maybe you want to help to just push that knee slightly away from us. So then we're not finding this pose, we're not stretching anything around the knee or the ankle, but we're really trying to open up that hip area. Okay, let's go ahead and change legs. Coming up, find that external rotation, pressing away. I like to do this to activate the muscles first, pulling in towards us. Find a few deep breaths. And one final breath. Excellent. Releasing the pose. We're going to come into our Ananda Balasana, or our happy baby. So lifting both legs up. Now maybe you're just grabbing behind the thighs, the knees, the legs, the feet. If you can grab a hold, let's grab a hold of the big toe with the peace fingers. Now I want to see some length in your spine here. So out through the top of your head, out through your tailbone. And then we're just going to start to pull or release the legs down here. Now, if you feel ready for it, you might be a little bit more active in the arms and shoulders to pull the legs down. From here, maybe just a gentle little rock from side to side. 2 more breaths. Last one. And collecting the legs. We're going to roll up or just roll over to your side and come back up to sitting. So we're going to find one last pose here for a little deeper side bend. It's going to be Upavishta Konasana, or wide-legged forward fold, with the focus on the inside of the thighs and opening up the hips. So from here, just find your pose. Now, if this is really uncomfortable, you have the knees bent, you could just be sitting here, supporting yourself from behind. Maybe if you want to curve over, go ahead and do that. But one of the most important things that we can do here is just to enjoy the stretch. So find the pose that feels good for you here this morning. You can feel that little stretch in the inside of the thighs, sitting up, maybe coming forwards, taking a few deep breaths. From here, yogis, we're going to make our way over to one side. There's lots of ways that we can come over to one side. We can rotate and come over. We can place the hand somewhere in front of us or behind us. We can open up that side body and maybe rotating a little bit here, that shoulder through the spine, opening up and coming down. 2 more breaths. And on the next exhale, we're going to come up and change sides. So rotating over, maybe facing down, placing that hand, just doing what you did on the other side. 3 breaths. Two. And 3. All right, so coming here, collecting the legs, shaking them out a little bit. And there we are. Now, if you feel like you might need a little bit more this morning, have a look around at some of the other videos on the channel here. You might find something else that you'd like to do. Or if not, if you feel like you are ready to start the day, then thank you very much for joining me for today's practice. Now, if you like the class, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to becoming a part of this community. Peace, namaste, and have a fantastic day.